Hello, writers. This is Rebecca A. Dolan, otherwise known as Rad, and this is Rad Notes Book Coaching Presents. Today, we're going to talk about creating tension in your story. Now, there's three basics to creating tension, and what's interesting is you've heard the combination of suspense, conflict, and tension. Now, while the three of them, they're like a circle. So you can't have one without the other. And quite frankly, each scene should actually have conflict, suspense, and tension. So let's start from the beginning. I'm going to give you just a really off the wall example. So we have Wanda and we have Joe. Wanda and Joe are bank heisters. Wanda is the lead character and the head of the bank robber squad. Joe wants to kill Wanda. So that is conflict. Except Wanda doesn't know that Joe wants to kill her, other than he starts acting weird and now she's putting some thoughts together. So the story is focused around Wanda trying to finish through with the heist, but also not get killed. So when we think about that, when we're looking at this cycle that's happening between suspense, conflict, and tension, is that the suspense is the feeling of anticipation. So we know, like, Joe wants to kill Wanda. Wanda has to prevent it. The suspense is, how are you going to do that? The conflict in this case is Joe versus Wanda. So you have two people, two opposing forces. They want something accomplished together, but at the same time, they don't really like each other, which leads to the tension. And here's the thing: tension is the narrative that you as the writer are talking about Wanda and the feelings of wanting to be a leader, to get this accomplished, to do this big heist, but at the same time, now she's got people on her team that she can't trust. It's tension that's building up that's also leading to the suspense, to do the full circle of that anticipation of how is this going to go to fruition. So basically, you can think of it this way: conflict is the cause and tension is the effect. So conflict as a cause is the battle of wits between Wanda and Joe, right? They're going to have some kind of fight coming up, so that they're having a battle. The suspense is the anticipation of how the battle will actually unfold. Whereas tension, and again, is the feelings that the readers get, knowing that Wanda has this issue of someone following her, wanting to kill her, and what she's going to do to fight up against it. So while that's just a made up an example, let me lead to, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I created tension in a story. So this is my real life example. I submitted to what was called NYC Midnight. It was a 250 word challenge. This is crazy. What they do is you have 24 hours to write a 250 word story. That's one page. It's crazy, but I did it. And what you do is you have 24 hours to write this story. So they give you genre. In this case, in particular, mine was horror. Okay. My word was smart, so I had to use smart. And then I had to use an action, which was counting. This is all they give you, and you have 24 hours to do this. So let me read to you. I know this is a little bit hard to read, but let me read this to you. This was my first to go, and what I submitted to the NYC Midnight Crew. It is called The Last Supper. Leave that ominous forest, dearie. He bestowed the edge of the enchantment. Can't help you if you don't pass the threshold, dearie. His steps were labored, from too many cold nights in the forest alone. Perfect. Just a few more steps, and Aunt Agatha will fix you right up. His body shook at erratic levels. His teeth chattered violently. You're shivering. Sit by the hearth, dearie. I'll grab you a blanket and hot tea. His quick shudders lessened as he sipped the concoction from the steaming mug. That cut must smart, dearie. He squirmed when she shoved her finger in his forehead wound and sampled his blood. Be positive. You'll make for a fine pet. He eyed the door. Oh, dearie, your self-will took you over the threshold into my cottage. You're under my spell. Now drink up, and you're going to feel the pain. His head swiveled to the cauldron hanging over burning logs, eyes widening. I'm brewing forever soup. I'll just need your tongue. He scurried, pushing his back deeper into the cob wall. 1, 2, 3. Quit wiggling, dearie. Don't want to waste it. Again, 1, 2. His eyes flashed crimson when the forceps clamped down and the knife severed his tongue. He collapsed and passed out. There, not so bad. A little stir. Oop, burnt my tongue a little. He lay motionless, blood leaking on the straw-covered floor. What, not a funny pun? It was fun to write this. So let me give you now the critique that I received from this submission. So here's what they say that the judges liked about my story. They liked the premise of the story, that it was a fairy tale feel, which works well with horror. It has an interesting hook and an equally interesting conclusion. The witch, such great personality definition for such a small space. Love the pun they doled out at the end as well, burnt my tongue a little. I really enjoy the atmosphere of this story, as well as your creative interpretations of either prompt. Good work. What judges feel they need to work on, and this is where we're going to dive into how I changed the tension. I have a couple suggestions that may help. Okay, as you read, I wanted to be fully immersed in your story, yet I felt I was a bit distant from the action. I realize that you have written no description about Aunt Agatha at all. Some little thing to give your readers an image in their mind would also help. Also, I wonder if they were trying the story in first person, from maybe Agatha's point of view or the man's point of view, to help the reader settle into the character's shoes. Otherwise, good work. The story is good. It would be better if there were more tension. Once he was inside, he seemed cooked, literally and figuratively. Give the character some hope for escape, some diversion from the inevitable. It makes the inevitable feel all the worse for it. I think a little bit more insight in the protagonist's heads, his insights, observations beyond the physical, would help flesh out this character and connect the reader to the Georgie and his tragic end. So again, we're gonna work on from here. I'm gonna work on building that tension and going along with some of those amazing critiques. Which, by the way, I did pay something like $35 for this critique, which is practically invaluable at this point. So again, let me read you now the revised version, which adds tension, and you guys tell me if it does make any kind of a difference. So here's the revised version. Oh, dearie, you're a mess. Come, let's get you cleaned up. He knew she wasn't real. Beautiful women didn't live this deep in the forest. Can't help you if you don't cross the threshold, dearie. He limped toward her. His head throbbed with every breath. Dried blood crusted his outstretched hand. Too many cold nights in the forest, fighting demons. Just a few more steps, and Aunt Agatha will fix you right up. His body shook. His teeth chattered violently. There, dearie. Come, sit by the fire. She wrapped wool around his shoulders. He sipped her concoction from a steamy mug. Better. That cut was smart, dearie. He screamed as she shoved her fingernail into his forehead wound and licked. Be positive. You'll make for a fine pet. He eyed the door, demon or witch. Oh, dearie, once you crossed the threshold, you became mine. Now drink up or you're going to feel the pain. His head swiveled to the cauldron hanging over burning logs. You're hungry? He nodded. I'm making stew. He relaxed in the warmth. Just need your tongue. He scurried backward, pushing his back deeper into the cob wall. What? You're not using it. His forceps clamped down. 1, 2. Quit wiggling, dearie. Again. 1, 2. His eyes flashed crimson as a knife severed his tongue. Blood leaked onto the straw-covered floor. There, not so bad. A little stir. Oh, hurt my tongue a little. He collapsed and passed out. What? Not a funny pun. So let's talk about what I did here. I added just a little bit of description of Agatha, so we know that she's beautiful. Again, it's 250 words. It's really tough to add a lot of description and such in such a small space, but I did add that in. I gave a quick mentions of the man's appearance, that he was bloodied and he was definitely having a hard time in the forest. And then we added tension. So I added that just that little bit to make it look like the man had some options, that he started to feel good because he was going to get soup. Oh, wait, he's actually part of the soup. So I hope this helps you to understand how to write tension into story. And once again, I want to thank you all for being here. And please feel free to leave a comment down below. And peace.